During the September 2025 Nintendo Direct, Nintendo and Illuminations gave us a glimpse of the sequel to the commercially successful Super Mario Bros. Movie, titled the Super Mario Galaxy Movie. As any gamer worth their stars could tell you from that title, this movie is clearly going to be inspired by the Super Mario Galaxy duology of games, where Mario must travel out into space with the help of Rosalina and the Lumas in order to rescue Peach from Bowser once again. The original Wii game was a smash success and is still touted as one of the greatest games ever made, with a sequel that some would argue improves across the whole gameplay spectrum. Making a movie inspired by this classic video game seems like a no-brainer, and in order to ensure its success, Nintendo has seemingly decided to dedicate its Super Mario Bros. 40th anniversary celebrations towards promoting this movie, kicking it off by re-releasing that original duology on Nintendo Switch, making it available for any and all who have yet to play it. It's not even a timed release like their 35th anniversary events were. The Galaxy duology are here to stay. Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2 on Nintendo Switch and Switch 2 are just as fantastic as they were back on the Wii, now enhanced with re-rendered cutscenes, touched up textures, and all running at a higher resolution and frame rate than ever before. This isn't like the version of Super Mario Galaxy that was included in the 3D All-Stars collection, that was emulated, whereas what we have here is a native port allowing for entirely new additions to the game, like new storybook chapters in Rosalina's storybook. Or in the case of Super Mario Galaxy 2, actually including a storybook. And on Nintendo Switch 2, the mouse controls on the Joy-Con have been introduced to replicate the pointer controls in the game's 2-player mode. It's a perfect use for the mouse, and a showcase of how the Wii's pointer mechanics could easily be translated over to the mouse controls for any future ports, or a Wii NSO. Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2 both hold up spectacularly all these years later, and they are must-plays for anyone who hasn't yet already. But like I said at the beginning, these releases are just the start of Nintendo's Super Mario Galaxy movie celebrations. 2 massive amiibo of Mario and Rosalina are releasing alongside the duology, and a physical version of Rosalina's storybook from the first Super Mario Galaxy is being released by Dark Horse Books, which looks positively gorgeous. It's not just merch, however, which I'm sure we'll get more of closer to the movie's release. Nintendo is also tying in hype for the movie with some of its video game releases next year. In the same season as the release of the Super Mario Galaxy movie, Nintendo is also dropping 2 other titles, Super Mario Bros. Wonder Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Meetup in Bella Bell Park, and Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. While the latter isn't directly tying into Super Mario Galaxy in any way, we know from the end credits stinger of the first movie that Yoshi will be playing a significant role in the new film, so a Yoshi game can help hype up the character and his movie appearance can drive up game sales. And as for the Super Mario Bros. Wonder Nintendo Switch 2 Edition, while Nintendo didn't officially acknowledge it in their announcements, eagle-eyed fans spotted that Rosalina, the central figure of Super Mario Galaxy, is being added to the game as a playable character, making this her debut appearance in a 2D Mario game. So far, she's the only new playable character we've seen added, and given the timing of this game's release, it is almost certainly in part to build up excitement for the movie, and hopefully ride off of her appearance in that film to get new fans to pick up Super Mario Bros. Wonder. We love some good brand synergy. Based on these releases and the new content being added to Super Mario Bros. Wonder, we can infer there's been some internal coordination at Nintendo to use their games to promote the upcoming film and vice versa. So the question we want to ask now is, what else could Nintendo do? And we mean beyond the obvious, like releasing a new trailer, updates in future Nintendo Directs, and a dedicated Super Mario Galaxy movie direct. What else could they do to promote the movie in their games, both upcoming, unannounced, and already released? Well, why don't we start this speculative dive by looking at the other Super Mario game that was announced during the 40th anniversary, Mario Tennis Fever. The next entry into the Mario Tennis series launches worldwide February 12th, 2026, which isn't near the movie launch, but it doesn't have to be to help promote it. And besides, Nintendo can't save all of their games for spring 2026. They still need to be paced so they don't cannibalize each other. In terms of Super Mario Galaxy content in Mario Tennis Fever, it's mostly the expected, with a couple of surprise references confirmed so far. The obvious one comes in the form of its characters, Rosalina and Luma. Both were confirmed immediately, and both are the 2-star figures of the Super Mario Galaxy games. However, both are also veterans of this series, with Luma debuting in Mario Tennis Open on Nintendo 3DS, and Rosalina in Mario Tennis Ultra Smash on Wii U. Both came back for the Nintendo Switch title, Mario Tennis Aces, which Fever is likely built on top of, so there was a high chance that, movie or not, these two would have been coming back. The more surprising reference to Super Mario Galaxy actually comes in the form of one of the new Fever rackets, the Ice Racket. Its design and emblem is based on Baron Burr, king of the Burr enemies found exclusively in the Super Mario Galaxy games. Baron Burr is the boss of the Freeze Flame Galaxy, and the player gets a Power Star from defeating him. He has not been seen since Super Mario Galaxy until today. Coincidence? I think not! Also, I would like to say, but in all likelihood it's probably just a neat reference. The Fire Fever racket uses a lava bubble as its emblem, and the Paint Fever racket uses a Proto-Piranha from Super Mario Sunshine, so Mario Tennis Fever seems to be basing these rackets off of enemies when they can, and Baron Burr is the king of the ice enemies, so he just makes sense. There is another Fever racket referenced in Super Mario Galaxy though, and that's the Shadow racket. When used, it creates a shadow copy of the player, and these shadows look very similar to the cosmic clones that debuted within Super Mario Galaxy 2. Their appearance here is more in line with their Super Mario 3D Land versions, but those are also the most recent appearances of this enemy, so that makes sense. It doesn't erase the fact that these guys first appeared in Super Mario Galaxy. Whew, so those are all the confirmed Super Mario Galaxy references we found in Mario Tennis Fever, but there may be more we've yet to see, such as a Super Mario Galaxy themed court. Both Mario Power Tennis on the GameCube and Mario Tennis Open on 3DS had courts themed around Mario games, and Mario Tennis Fever looks to be returning to this idea. The GameCube outing had 2 courts based on Super Mario Sunshine, a Luigi's Mansion court, a WarioWare court, and a Donkey Kong Country court, and a Mario Bros court. Then Mario Tennis Open had a Mario Kart Wii court based on Mushroom Gorge, a Donkey Kong Country Returns themed court, a new Super Mario Bros. Wii themed court based specifically on World 3 of that game, and finally a Super Mario Galaxy court, complete with launch stars, Lumas, and a cameo from the Gateway Galaxy and Comet Observatory. In Mario Tennis Fever so far, we've only seen 2 gimmick courses, one based on Super Mario Bros. Wonder and another on Mario Kart DS, specifically Waluigi Pinball. Each of these stages had special gimmicks to them, and in the case of the previous Galaxy Arena, its gimmick wasn't really based on anything from Galaxy. The court's textures would randomly change, and that affected the ball's trajectory. We think a new Galaxy court could actually take place on a planet in space, and feature the low gravity gimmick, causing balls to rise higher more frequently and come down slower, really messing with the player's sense of timing compared to a normal game. Mario Tennis Fever also has an adventure mode that we are sure some of these courts will tie into, and what kind of big adventure doesn't end up with the heroes in space at some point? It could make for a great late game area, and give Rosalina and the Lumas a chance to have a role in the story, given we know that the former doesn't get babyified like Peach does. There's also the possibility of other Fever rackets referencing Super Mario Galaxy, like the 2 we currently have. There are too many options for what rackets could do, so we'll only give 3 suggestions, all based on enemies, as that is how most of the rackets revealed so far seem to operate. Some, like Thwomp and Pokey, straight up summon an enemy to the field to interfere with the opposing player, and that could happen here as well. Our first suggestion is the Octumba, a common enemy from Super Mario Galaxy that acts like a Zelda series Octorok, spitting out rocks at Mario. Perhaps here it could spit rocks that the affected side will have to dodge, but these rocks can be smacked away with the tennis racket if timed right. Another option is the Top Man, a very fun enemy that spins around and tries to ram into Mario. That could be their use here, randomly spinning around the affected side of the court and needing to be avoided by the players. Lastly, there's the Bouldergeist boss, who wouldn't appear himself but would be featured as an emblem on a rock or earth elemental racket, similar to Baron Burr. Okay, there is one final format that Super Mario Galaxy could be represented within Mario Tennis Fever, and it's the place you were all thinking before you even clicked on the video: the roster. Mario Tennis Fever is confirmed to have 38 characters. So far we know of 19, with a likely 20th in Paratrooper and the 5 babies, for a total of 25. Of those 25, only Rosalina and Luma are directly from Super Mario Galaxy, but they don't have to be the only ones. While it's more likely that Kamek will return in this game, he hasn't been seen yet, which means there is a chance, even slightly, that he could be replaced with Camella, the Lady Magic Koopa from the first Galaxy game. Although, given that Kamek is confirmed for the Super Mario Galaxy movie, it probably just makes sense to bring him back again. Related to this point, a lot of the viable Super Mario Galaxy originals probably don't make sense to be added in the face of their more common counterparts. Monty Mole is more likely to be added than the Undergrunt, and in fact we've seen the former in the adventure mode already, so maybe he has made it to the roster. Lakitu seems more likely to be added than King Lakitu from Galaxy 2, and taking a page from Mario Kart World, the generic Penguin is a more likely addition than the Galaxy-specific coach. But it is with the allies that we do get glimpses of our possible playable candidates, starting with Lubba, the Big Luma. She takes Rosalina's place in Super Mario Galaxy 2, giving her great importance and making her one of the most likely of all of our options. She's not like the regular Lumas because of how big she is, and thus she could be a slow, tricky character in Mario Tennis Fever. She did make a cameo in Mario Golf World Tour, another sports game by Camelot, so they aren't opposed to using her. And there is a decent chance that she appears in the Super Mario Galaxy movie as an ally to Rosalina. Perhaps the Chief of Staff for all the Luma? Two other options for playable characters that are both less likely but would be fun are Gearmo and the Chimp. Both are allies that provide Mario with challenges in exchange for Power Stars, with Gearmo appearing in both games and the Chimp only in Galaxy 2. Neither have appeared since, but their designs and personalities most likely mean that they both have fans out there, especially the Chimp, who is the latest in Mario's line of competitors along with Koopa the Quick, Il Piantissimo and the Spooky Speedster. Fans have been asking for Il Piantissimo to return for a long time now, and I don't see why the Chimp couldn't be a more relevant inclusion with a similar role. There is one more option though, an icon of the Super Mario series, a beloved fan favourite character that receives nothing but cheers and praise wherever she makes her important appearance in the Mario spin-off games. The lady who needs no introduction is Honey Queen, Queen of the Bees. Everyone loves Honey Queen, and there is no better time to bring her back than now. And it doesn't have to be at launch, mind you. While we know there are 38 characters on the base roster, this doesn't mean we won't get post-launch updates like Mario Tennis Aces got, and any of these Super Mario Galaxy characters could be introduced in a Spring 2026 update to the game. Spring, the season of flowers, perfect for a bee like Honey Queen. Speaking of post-launch updates, I think you all know what is coming up next. It is wild that Mario Kart World hasn't had a content update yet, but maybe that's because they are strategically timing the first update to tie in with the upcoming Super Mario Galaxy movie. And if so, the most likely update will come in the form of new races, karts and costumes. Maybe we could even get tracks, although there aren't any Super Mario Galaxy tracks in Mario Kart that aren't Rainbow Road or Rosalina's Ice World, neither of which are likely, especially given the latter was already cut from the base game. I suppose you could count Cloud Trop Cruise from Mario Kart 8, which uses the Gusty Garden Galaxy song as its theme, and it has a Galaxy airship in the stage, so I guess it kinda counts. Being a sky-based track, it could also be easily added to the Mario Kart World map, so this one isn't an impossible inclusion. But realistically, new tracks won't come in free updates. It will be a paid update, and we already have Starview Peak, which is also Galaxy themed, so a track based around Galaxy might not be needed. Races and costumes, however, those would be great, and all of the characters we talked about for Mario Tennis Fever are applicable here, especially Honey Queen, who already made her playable debut in Mario Kart 7. As a veteran, she seems the most likely to return in a Galaxy-themed update. Heck, maybe they'll even update Mario Kart Tour with her inclusion, given she was one of the two veterans not to make it back in that game. Could this be why she didn't make it back in that game? They were just waiting for this moment? Am I coping here? Yes, but you only lose when you stop believing. There is also the option for Luma itself to be added to Mario Kart World. Luma's already appeared as an NPC in the game and so could make an easy obstacle driver. This is honestly the most likely outcome for a new racer, so I foresee a Luma and Honey Queen duo update in Mario Kart World's future. I won't stop believing. As for possible costumes and karts, there isn't really any option that is Super Mario Galaxy specific. unless you did one of the Mario power-ups from that game like Bee or Cloud Mario, but the Mario Kart team seems to be avoiding power-ups as costumes in World. I suppose a spooky speedster costume for King Boo could be an option, although it's kind of similar to an already existing outfit he has. And that kind of does it for likely updates to existing games. The other Nintendo Switch Mario games haven't had updates in a while, and if they haven't got a Nintendo Switch 2 edition yet, it's unlikely that they will. Except Tetris 99. That is 100% getting a Super Mario Galaxy themed event at some point in the next 6 months, if not shortly after the duology drops. Super Mario Run most likely will as well. Maybe Rosalina could be added as a playable character to that. But this doesn't mean we won't get other new Mario games that have just yet to be announced. For example, a new Dr. Mario that reuses assets from Dr. Mario World would inevitably have Dr. Rosalina and Dr. Luma, as well as assistants in the form of Star Bunny, Honey Queen, Octumber and Bombu. Fun fact, it actually seems that a Super Mario Galaxy specific event was planned to happen in that game before it was cancelled. It would have added Dino Prana and King Caliente as assistants. Given this game went out of service in 2021 though, there's no way it was planned to tie in with this movie, but they could bring the assets back. A possible Super Mario Galaxy themed promotional Picross could happen. Nintendo has a history of tying in Picross games with Twilight Princess Picross and Super Mario 64 Picross. We could get a new Captain Toad game with a Galaxy themed level. The original already got a free Nintendo Switch 2 update, so an addition seems unlikely. Actually, speaking of Captain Toad, he technically debuted in Super Mario Galaxy as well, and the movie version of Toad is at least partially inspired by him. I would suspect Toadette and the Toad Brigade are likely new characters in this movie as well, so maybe a Captain Toad 2 that's themed around Galaxy is very possible. You know what? Add Captain Toad to the Mario Tennis Fever and Mario Kart World predictions as well. And the big one is the possibility of a Super Mario Galaxy 3 coming in as the next big 3D Mario. If there isn't a new Captain Toad, of course. If this does happen, I wouldn't expect it before or around the movie's release. It would absolutely cannibalize the sales of Wanda and Yoshi for sure. But maybe if we get our Galaxy brains going, this entire promotional operation has not been for the Super Mario Galaxy movie, but actually for a new Super Mario Galaxy game, launching at the end of 2026. And the movie is actually a tie-in product for the game that caps off a year of celebrations. We did get Pikmin 1+2 re-released right before Pikmin 4 launched to get players up to speed before that game. Could the same thing be happening here? We have no doubts that there will at least be some more Super Mario Galaxy themed content coming out in the next year to build up to or ride off of the new movie. And whether it is something that we've listed here or something unexpected, we'll all just have to wait and see. For now, I'm going to go back to playing the newly released duology, and if you haven't played either of these games yet, then you definitely should. That will help you get prepared for next year's galaxy-spanning blockbuster success.